Alright, this is my Samsung washer that I fixed. The original problem was that it made a loud buzzing noise whenever it drained, so even just turning it on, it would immediately start draining and you hear a sort of noise. And so I suspected it had to do with the drain pump. Let's see. So I looked at a few YouTube videos and ended up doing kind of in between what two of them said. The shortcut way, first of all, the drain pump is down here behind this module. This is just a filter, but behind that is the drain pump. And one of the videos said you could just remove two screws in front of here to detach it, tilt the washer up, and access it from underneath. So I see one screw there. Unfortunately for my model, the other screw is behind down there, which you cannot access from the front. So I referred to a different YouTube video. I'll link both of them in the comments. That does it, quote unquote, the proper way, which is to remove the top, remove this, remove the whole front. That way you can access the screws down there, and then remove everything, and then you can just do it as normal. But there's actually a way to do this without doing all that work, just going halfway, basically. First, I'm going to need to lean this back, so you'll want to put something behind. If you don't have a giant 3 cubic foot sack of sphagnum peat moss, you'll have to find something. But this just happened to be around, and it's actually pretty soft, so it won't crush any of these hoses back here. But what you want to do is, for the top, my Samsung has 2 screws. Those are easy to remove. This pops off, super easy, barely an inconvenience. And then you want to remove this thing. Also pretty simple. There were screws here. The key, though, is to, you got to remove these two. And then you got to take this thing and slide it back, because that actually hangs onto this thing. So you got to take this, slide it back, and then you can take out this drawer and then pop off the whole front. These are all following the other really full videos descriptions, instructions, but I tried to follow it and I actually couldn't, because one of the steps was to remove this ring, and I couldn't remove the ring. I just couldn't figure out how. It just said to use needle nose pliers and remove something, and I really can't figure out how to do that. So I thought I was kind of screwed, but it turns out there's kind of a shortcut way. So don't worry about removing the ring. You're supposed to remove this, but you actually don't need to remove this either. Basically, at this stage, what you could do is, let me tilt this back. You will have to unscrew the door here, though. So there's 3 screws down here. One of them is missing. Once I remove those 3 screws, then I was able to take this front, and I was basically able to pop it off these tabs on the bottom. It's still attached to the washer, but I was able to pop them off and basically take this whole front and just scoot it up about ½ an inch. And from there, it's kind of hard to see, but the screw's down there. If I just scoot this up ½ an inch, it exposes that screw, which allows me to then unscrew both of those screws, attaching that drain pump assembly. From there, you can access everything from underneath. So once you can remove that, it might be easier to remove that black hose right there. It's really easy to just pinch that clamp with your fingers and remove that. Then you'll need to unplug those wires. Remember where those wires plug back into. There's 2 plugs. Remember which one's which. These 2 wires, these 2 hoses, I did not bother to remove. It was fine. Basically, you can take this whole thing, just have it hanging out down here. And then from there, the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Unscrewing the drain pump, which is 3 screws. I just got this $25 one off Amazon that seems pretty universal for Samsung stuff. I will try to remember to link it in the comments description. Alright, so I've removed those 4 screws, and then this still won't come off. If I just pry, this side will. This side gets stuck because you need to take this and scoot it back. That. Then this side pops off. And then you can detach all the wires or just kind of let it sit on top here. And then I got to remove 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that I have those 4 top screws removed, I also removed the 3 underneath. I'm gonna basically try to take this and lift it up. I'm not gonna mess with the door seal or any of that stuff. I'm gonna tilt it back. Alright, so remember to remove that cap on there so that this thing can move around. I basically took the lid, took the front cover, and pushed it up, exposing that other screw. So I could have removed that one, but now I can remove both without having to remove the door seal and the little latch thing and all that kind of stuff. Once I remove these 2, that detaches the drain pump assembly, and then I can do whatever I need with it there. Alright, so I detached this hose on top. These ones I just left on because it seems to be able to reach fine. And then now you have everything exposed. Notice this side is actually identical to the circle on this side, so that when you remove the drain pump, be sure to attach it back to the same place where it was before, and don't be a dum-dum like me and accidentally attach it to this side, which leads to nowhere and does nothing, and just have a bunch of water draining out from underneath the washing machine when you turn it on. Alright, good luck.